Hi guys. So today we're talking about this officer about 2 years ago stopped these two women in Montana at a gas station for um, I guess he was like trying to get their papers because he was suspicious because they're speaking Spanish, and I'm like, okay, but what does that pertain to? That like just because I mean, by the way, the Montana's by like close to Canada,
But this
like
this was like 50 miles from the border.
yeah, exactly. So like, what would it actually like? I don't get it. Like,
Well,
just because they don't seem like they belong there, or like they were just going to the store to get stuff, right?
look, I think the way originally they got attended because they're different from most people. I mean, a lot of people move different countries. You got a bunch of people from Africa moved to the Midwest. You know what I mean? From Somalia,
Right? Yeah.
and because a bunch of people, I keep telling people, the United States doesn't have a big language, so it doesn't. But it's kind of stupid for them, being stopped. I mean, what happened to those others, like illegal Canadians, white legally in the convenience store? You really check them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're so close to the border because the border patrol do control 50 miles from the border or 100 miles, like that, 50 or 100 miles. God, it is. So technically, they go to San Francisco and patrol San Francisco if they wanted to, or our area, San Jose, or because we're not that far from the border.
Yeah.
But the point was, these two women were just speaking, Spanish at a store, and he was that cost suspicious. And he claimed it wasn't racial motive. I think it was because he didn't really ask anybody else for their paperwork, or a bunch of French Canadians came in. So let's see the video. It's only a 56-minute video.
Yeah. It's just like half, like about 50 seconds. Um.
Good, and then we'll play it, and you know,
Yeah. Just make sure we can hear it. I guess.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
In the video, please, why you ask us for our ID, please?
Ma'am, we asked your ID because I came in here and saw that you guys are speaking Spanish, which is very American.
The women who are U.S. citizens were speaking Spanish, and a Border Patrol agent asked them for their identification. Students then she paid for her items, gave the agent her ID, and he started recording the agent in the parking lot. That agent told Student the reason he stopped them was because they were speaking Spanish, which he said was unusual for that part of Montana. The agent told the women his actions were not racially motivated. Student says they're still in shock this happened.
My family was asking me because my family is in Texas, and they were asking me, how is Montana about this? I said, never have a problem before. I said, Montana is perfect because I love the people here. The people is so nice. It's nicer than another states, and I can't believe this happened.
United States Customs and Border Protection sent NPN this statement in response to the incident, saying, quote, although most Border Patrol work is conducted in the immediate border area, agents have broad law enforcement authorities and are not limited to a specific geography within the United States. They have the authority to question individuals, make arrests, and take and consider evidence. Now, MPN has reached out to immigration attorneys in the state for clarification on Border Patrol authority and citizens' rights. Will update you when we learn more.
Okay.
So it's kind of small.
No, it's gonna like
He said was unusual.
Yeah.
it's gonna connect to something else.
So
So what do you think about this? That what they said at the end was kind of odd. That they basically have like rights to question anybody in anywhere part of the United States, not just the border.
yeah,
Or I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But
Like their jurisdiction is is whatever they are basically.
well, not really. That's not really true. Their general area is mostly 50 miles or 100 miles from the border.
Okay.
Because I went to the Salton Sea, I was like maybe 60 miles from the border, and there was like I saw more border patrol in that area than cops or sheriff people,
Mm.
and then they didn't stop me. I stopped actually stopped us I went to his. But first I went to a border patrol thing. There was a big sign that said stop. I wasn't sure. Do you stop? So I just sat there, just waited for like a minute, and some border patrol looked at me and said, "Just wave me on." Because I had no idea because I never went to a border patrol station before.
No.
And I was like, maybe look at the Salton Sea. Maybe it was like 60 miles from the border. My guessing.
Oh shoot.
But but I think it's wrong. I mean, I think it was racial motivated. You
Well,
know what I
just
mean?
because they're speaking Spanish, that like they're suspicious. Like, what do you think? Like they came from like all the way, by the way, all the way south,
South boy.
and then traveled north to what? What does it pertain to?
So what happened? A bunch of Chinese people moved there, and they speak the Dominican
They probably won't like question them at all.
or a bunch of French people. I'm not saying that much Samoan people moved from Somalia to the Midwest. Is going to stop a bunch of them from us because you're going to speak a language that you're comfortable talking with. You know what I mean? But there's no laws that says you can. I
Yeah.
mean,
Plus, like these people are citizens. They're not like it's just because they have an accent. They were speaking Spanish when he got there that he has to question them. It doesn't make sense.
but, but I know some southern states made it illegal for Native Americans to use their language.
Really?
But the funny thing, most of the southern states are named after tribes.
Yeah, because they used to be their land.
Yeah, and so basically, if you say like I'm a bunch of names Mississippi or Alabama or something, that came from Native Americans. So technically, you're breaking the law by saying a state's name. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. It's stupid.
So I think it was racial motivated. They claim because they're going to take their own. The party figures will take their own. I mean, they have like tons of 50. Look around in key videos. I mean, let's beat the shit out of them. And then of course they're going to take their own.
Yeah.
So he was being messed. Guy was like on his hands and knees, crying, begging for them to stop, and they keep. I never seen. I took some classes, time classes, but I never seen one. You're doing this, okay? It's mostly your protection. You aim for the knees. You keep the person.
Yeah, you're not trying to beat them down like and stuff.
It's mostly for the defense,
Right.
and not often for. Sure, but I get killed. So I watch video, but most of these video get killed doing a YouTube channel. So but I believe it was voting bill. I don't give a crap what they say. I mean, there's no reason to get stopped. I mean, they're buying.
No, it's just racial discrimination. I mean, like just because they're speaking Spanish. I mean, like,
and they look different. They were, they walk into, there's been history of, black people going to a white neighborhood and they get stopped and ask a bunch of questions. Or if you go to a rich neighborhood, you drive like a car's not, fits in the neighborhood, you get stopped. You know what I mean? It's BS. I don't care what they say.
yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of that everywhere. I really don't get it.
And speaking different languages, there's nothing wrong in speaking different language in this country.
No, I mean like we're a melting pot, not like we're not like segregated like in the old days.
Even English is not native to this part of the world. It's started in Denmark around the 14th or 13th century. And back then, English evolved so much over the years. I mean, you can understand it to like around 14th century. For that, you're like,
Yeah.
But once again, I don't know. I believe it was motivated. He's going to stop everybody. Just stop everybody from that store. Check your IDs. That's the only way. I still, if you're a legal alien, start speaking English. Say, oh, you're from here. They won't check on you. Of course, if you're doing color, they'll check on you. Some person. I believe this country is really race motivated, to the truth. So, how they try to disguise it, how much things are changing, but I really don't see that really over the years. Anything else to say about this, or?
No, I just think like it's just ignorance, like how like somebody of authority like is representing this, and it's not it doesn't look good on the department.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good at all. Like just because they're speaking something else, like okay, if they were like moving a suspicious bag around, like and there was white powder like dripping on their knees or something, then you might want to answer questions. But other than that, them just talking to each other in in their language that they speak, this it's asinine.
One time I did get picked on by a cop Mountain View PD. One time was I was doing DoorDash, and I was taking a little break. I was watching a video, and he came up to me. He snuck up behind my car. I was like watching. Because I always look at my rear mirror windows because always having beggars and weird people coming in your car in parking lots. And he tries to think if he knows I noticed him, and then he says it's suspicious for me to watch my phone, my videos in my phone. I said I'm taking a break. I'm working. So anything could be suspicious with these,
Yeah, like one time I was parked because I was taking a nap before I was going to go to work, and it was in a a vacant lot. There was no houses around except for maybe across the street. It was a housing, like those suburbs that like some of the houses are completed, some of them
Yeah.
aren't. It's kind of like that, but it was in a part where there was no houses, there was nobody parked there, and there was nobody's parking. And this police came up to me like knocked on my window because I was taking a nap, and I told them, hey, I got work in a couple hours. Like my job is down the street. I'm just taking a nap. He said, oh, I'm sick. Sorry. You have any drugs on you? I'm like, no, I do not, and I'm not doing any drugs. If you want to take I don't know, some drug test. I don't know if they have that. Um,
Never.
you can,
Never,
you can, but
don't do that.
they didn't ask me. He's like, okay, have a good day. Well, he asked my ID, but that's about it. Um,
But the thing is, everything can be suspicious. Every time you leave your house, he knows how many laws you break. You leave so many stupid laws America has. Nice, you know, it's for your protection. No, it's more controlling you than anything else.
I don't know.
But that's like I've said. I don't have anything to say. But I think for the seventh time, it's BS.
Yeah, and yeah, just stupid.
All right, please like and subscribe, buy our T-shirts, and hope you enjoyed our videos.
All right, see. You.